Hi, my name's Tom. I'm the Students' Union President here at Stafford College. I'm currently studying Level 3 IT.
Hello, I'm Corey. I'm Events Officer in the Students' Union, and I'm also doing Level 3 IT at Stafford College.
And today we're here to do a live Q&A.
Let's get straight into the questions.
Was it easy to apply?
Yes, I did a application on the website, and it was a really easy process. I got an email straight away explaining sort of the process, the interview and whatnot.
Yeah, the same for me really. It was just, I came in, did an induction day, shot down to the computer room, filled in an application form, and then I had a interview date pretty much the next day. What advice would you give to Year 11s who are preparing for GCSEs and looking at their next steps?
So what I did, because in Year 11, I thought it would be a good idea to do a bit of research, sort of what I wanted to do as a career, and IT fell into the category. I did sort of want to go and do it at sixth form, but I did a bit of research into Stafford College, and I felt like they offered much more, and I was looking to become more independent, which is why I chose Stafford College over doing sixth form or anything else, and I really think that has benefited me. I'm more independent now, and I prefer college much more than high school.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's freedom at the end of the day. A lot of independence comes with college, and you just sort of get to do what you want to do when you're not learning.
I'm not sure whether to stay on at school or come to college. How did you decide?
Well, we pretty much did said both that, didn't we? But basically, I think I speak for both of us when I say we both really wanted independence and to be able to do what we wanted to be able to do. So it was an easy choice for both of us to come to college after we did our research about what it was going to be like. Do you have to have an interview? Was this scary? Not really. I think more the word interview is scarier than the actual thing itself. It's really just sitting down and chatting with a tutor and marking a few things off on paper about what you want to do, and then goes from there, really.
Yeah, with me, I was I was nervous at the fact of the word interview, because I think a lot of us at this age, we haven't really had any interviews, and I think it was my first interview coming to college, so I really was sort of nervous at first. It was quite scary when I was told that I'd have to be doing an interview, but as soon as I got on campus for the interview, I really wasn't that nervous anymore. The staff were great, and the interview went really well as well, so I was scared at first, but you really sink into the mood as soon as you get onto campus, and it's not really that scary at all.
What is the main difference between school and college? Freedom. There's so much more freedom at college than there is at school. Obviously in school it's you're sort of locked in during the day and you have to stay there until the end of the day, and then you finally get to leave. Whereas at college you do your lessons, you have a break, you go out, you go to town, you grab a Mackey's like Corey over here, or you grab a Greg's like me if you're really cool. And then you shoot back over to college and you're ready for your next lesson after your break, and you'll wander around.
Yeah, you're much more free in what you want to do. You're not sort of shut in and you have to get the meals there, or you have to take your own stuff in. You can bring your own food in, you can use the canteen area, or you can go out in town, go on a walk, you can go and grab a Mackey's or a Greg's if you're cool. But yeah, there's much more freedom, and it's really nice as well to be able to be so much more independent. What is the best thing about Stafford College? Well, the best thing thus far is the chance to be able to be more independent. As I've said, it's much more different to high school. You're much more independent.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I think the best thing for me is the people. I love the people here, like getting to know new people and talking to them and making friends with them and building new friendships. It's just actually fantastic. Like, everyone's so nice. I haven't met a bad person in my 1.25 years here so far. And then, as Corey said, the ability to sort of be able to work at your own pace and not feel pressured into doing certain things, and this and that, it's really nice to have that sort of freedom and independence. Were you nervous about joining college? I was incredibly nervous about joining college. On the first day, I was like, "Oof, this is going to be a long day." But I walked into college, sat down in the middle of the class, and we did little induction activities, sort of spoke about ourselves. I think we played 2 Truths and a Lie on my first day, actually, which was interesting. But yeah, after that, it was just easy sail. I spoke to the person next to me, spoke to my person on the left and right, and by the end of the day, I was friends with most of the class.
Yeah, I was quite nervous about joining college. I feel like with induction days and whatnot, it's a real icebreaker, and the staff on site try and sort of break the ice between you and others. You sort of get to know each other, and obviously that brings the nerves down. It really helped with me. And like Tom said, speaking to other people around you, you know, they're in similar situation. They've just started college as well, and I really think that, you know, the less nervous you are, you know, the more people you're going to meet, and that's what I did. I was sort of nervous on the first day, but as I've said, you know, it's really an icebreaker once you've had your induction, and you sort of get to meet the sort of people that have all the same interests as you, that are on the same course as you, and yeah. Why did you decide to apply to be president of the student union?
I think this was for you, Corey, if I'm honest. Yeah. No. I don't know. For me personally, applying to be president of the student union, I just wanted to represent the students and bring them the most comfortable experience they can have at Stafford. You know, I understand some people have trouble adapting to different situations, and the whole reason for me wanting to become student union president was to make that as comfortable as a transition as it can be. You know, I'm trying to implement things to make it as easy as it can be, even though it is, you know, very easy at the moment. I'm sure it can always be easier. So that's my main reason for wanting to become president of the student union here at Stafford. What measures are in place to ensure student safety due to COVID, and how are you finding these?
I'm quite used to putting hand sanitizer on my hands now. Yeah, so there's a lot of sanitisation stations in your classrooms, around the college. You have to wear face masks on campus, but it really makes you feel quite you know, you're in a more comfortable environment as opposed to, say, one that didn't have any sanitisation. But I think I've adapted. It's like the new norm for me now, putting all the sanitisation stuff on. But yeah, I think the college have done a great job with what they've got in place so far with the masks and whatnot, and yeah, it really doesn't actually feel that too much different.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there's hand sanitizer everywhere. There's bins of gloves if you have been using gloves on a computer. Masks are mandatory inside the building, so you don't spread anything. And also, what was it? What's the other thing? 2 meters. The 2 meters, that's important. But yeah, I think it's really good the amount of hand sanitizer that's around. Like, you can walk into any room and there's always hand sanitizer at the door. So if you feel a bit anxious about, well, COVID, which I know, I'm pretty sure everyone does, it is nice to know that there's that there to keep you safe. However, please bear in mind, if there is a cut on your hand, you will know about it by the end of the day, because the amount of hand sanitizer you put on really gets in there. So.
How are you being taught at the moment, classroom or virtual? So at the moment, our course, I think they do differ depending on what course you're doing, but our course we're doing a week in, week out basis. So we'll do 1 week in where we'll do 3 days. That's obviously, we follow the COVID restrictions, so 2 meters, wear face masks whilst you're walking about, and obviously sanitisation as well. But then we also are at home as well, which is quite good because you get the chance to go and chill out. You can wake up a bit later because you don't have to get on site to college, and you can just relax in your breaks. But yeah, I just love the fact that you can just go and nip in get a brew whenever you feel like it. Obviously not in lesson though, but when you're on your breaks, you can sort of go and have that chance to get a cup of tea whenever you want, or even a coffee.
Cup of tea and a couple of jammy dodgers. That's the go-to.
That is the go-to.
No, yeah, it's nice to have the balance, because you have a week out and you're longing to come back to college and want to be here and see everyone, and then after that week you're like, yeah, okay, I could do another week at home. You go home, you learn virtually, and you have that ability to finish your lesson and really do whatever you want in your own, home. You can watch a movie, go downstairs, you can, like Corey loves to do, go and get brew, and can't forget the jammy dodgers. It's once again, even though you're not here, you still have that freedom of being able to relax after your lessons, and I think that's important, and it's a real benefit of virtual. Do you feel well supported by staff, Corey?
Yes, the staff here are absolutely excellent. You've got a tutor, and sort of that tutorial time really is beneficial. You can sort of, you've got that time to sort of go over things. You can raise questions, concerns. You've also got student support staff. If you've got any queries, again, you can send them straight to them, and they're really good at answering questions, sort of making sure that you're sort of ready to come on site, maybe for your interview, or maybe if you feel like a different course may be more beneficial. If you get in touch with them, they're really supportive, but the staff are absolutely excellent on campus, and I'm sure Tom knows more about that as well.
Oh yes. So personally, I think the relationship you develop with these staff members is really good and positive. You feel like you can talk to them whenever you need them. Sometimes you might have an issue outside of college where you need support from work or anything like that. And 9 times out of 10, they're there to help you, and they can offer some really good advice. So while they are your teachers, I do feel like you do create a friendship bond with them. And as you get to know them more and they get to know you more, you have a bit of comedy with them. And I think that's important to being able to trust them with your learning, is to be able to see them as a friend as well as a teacher.
And I think you also as well, because obviously at school, you have teachers, but you don't. I always felt like I never had enough time to sort of build that relationship with any of my teachers. But at college, it's much more different. You've got your lecturers, and you really do adapt that relationship and that bond with them, which most of the time you can't actually do at high school. Which I've really enjoyed the fact that you can do that at college.
I think the first name basis really helps out as well, because obviously here at college you don't say Mr, Miss, Mrs.
Yeah.
It's all about, for example, Sarah, Jeff, Britta, Debbie.
It's just it really is different.
It's a positive change, I feel, as opposed to feeling like you're always forced into that formal setting, and if you do accidentally say something different, it's a negative. Here it's, if you do want to say Miss, you can say Miss, but if you feel comfortable enough, you can call them by their first name. I will be travelling to college by bus/train. Is the college easy to find from the town centre?
So I get the bus to college on the days that I'm in. The first week, I actually did a bit of research on the area, so I knew sort of the surrounding location. The train station is right opposite the college, so it's not too hard to find the college, and you should get the hang of it very, very quickly. And the college is obviously based right next to the town centre, so if you travel by bus like I do, the bus station, if you just go straight through the town, and then obviously to college, both locations are really close, so travelling shouldn't be an issue.
It's a very easy place to find, mostly because the building stands out but also mixes in quite well. So when you see it, you know that's the college. And I think that's helped by the incredibly huge signs outside both entrances that scream the words NSCG Stafford College in bright orange and red letters. So it's quite a hard place to miss. But yeah, it's very easy to find, especially from the town centre. If you know where Mackie's is, you know where college is. So that's as simple as that, and I'm going to presume most of you know where Mackie's is.
The college looks big compared to my school. Did you get lost in your first week? So I really found it on the first day. I didn't know where I was going, but the induction day really does help with sort of the location. You can sort of see where your area is gonna be, where you're gonna learn, and then I'd say after the first week you really do settle in with sort of where you've got to go. But yeah, I did get lost. But if you do ask people, you know, sort of where's this, where's that. People should really help you with finding where you need to go. I did when I got lost. So I got lost and I said, where's so and so? And they showed me, and it really helped me, because then after that I didn't get lost again.
For me, I didn't actually get lost, luckily enough. But I'm going to say that's mostly down to the fact that I was able to get a tour of the college, so I knew where everything was on campus from my induction day. So I knew that I wasn't really going to have to come into this huge building, as we mostly work in the STEM building, which is small and very easy to navigate because of all the signs, and it's modernness, and it's also glass everywhere so you can see where you're looking. But no, it's I wouldn't say it's hard to get lost, but it's you can get lost if you don't know where you're going, but that's only very rarely you don't know where you're going. And like Corey says, if you do get lost, there's staff everywhere, and they're always willing to help, and if they do point you in the right direction, it just further re-establishes that there's no need to worry about getting lost. What are the lecturers like?
They're really good. So, as we've said before, the fact that you can call them by their first name, sort of, you know, it paints a picture already about the lecturers. You know, you can sort of have that communication with them. But the lecturers are absolutely amazing. I've already managed to build the relationship up with all my lecturers, and sort of, you know, I know that I can go to them if I have any problems and sort of speak to them.
Yeah, no, the lecturers are really fantastic here. Like we've said, they're great, they're friendly, they're nice, they're very easy to talk to. They understand that you have a life outside of college, that you have time that you need to decompress and you need to cool down, you need to have hobbies and friends and things to do. And they really support that you spend that time doing other things as opposed to just your college work. And they talk about their own lives as well. You know, it's genuine people talking to genuine people as opposed to someone who's just trying to teach you. You right?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I don't know who you are. No new friends. I thought, yeah, no. Me and Corey have got on great. I met him 8 weeks ago.
8 weeks ago, and we're already great mates. I've met so many people on my course. I think because you share such, you know, similar interests, you're going into an area where you sort of share that want, you know, going into that course. It's really quite easy to make friends, maybe more easier than it was at high school, say, because you share the same interests. On my first day, I just sort of spoke to as many people as I could, and yeah, I think I'm friends with almost everyone on the course now, and I've made new friends.
Yeah, I think there's 24 of us in our class, 23 or 24.
Yep.
I don't think there's a person that I haven't spoken to or I haven't made friends with at least. And it's easy, is I think the most important thing. Because like Corey says, you have a lot in common already because you're doing the same course, and there's so many different courses that essentially you can pick something that you really want to do, and then you know the people you're going to be interacting with also want to do that. So you can talk to them about your course if you want to break the ice before you start making constant jokes. So it is very easy to make new friends here, and I've made a lot of friends here in my year and a half.
How did you decide which subject to study? So I wanted to go for a course that would be right for me, and like I've already got an interest in sort of games, playing games, creating games, programming, sort of really interested me back at high school. So I wanted to do something like that, and what I thought with about the course as well was, is this going to be a course that would be right for me as like a career? That sort of helped me quite a bit with sort of relating the course back to like what I want to do as a career, and I think that's what you guys should also do, is sort of think, you know, the course that you're interested in, you know, sort of compare it to what you want to do in your life, pretty much your career, and that's what sort of I did. But I originally went for games design, and thought, because I make games, I develop, I test games, I just found it really interesting. But then it didn't offer sort of the web development or things like that, so I sort of rethought it, went back to the IT course, sort of had a look at what it offered. I realised it would offer more to my career, it would give me a lot more to fall back on. Say if I went down one route and it didn't work, I could go and do another route and it might work. But that's what I sort of thought about when I was choosing my course.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to make sure you're looking into the course and looking at what the course involves before, you know, making that direct choice. But I don't know if we have mentioned, but there is always a possibility of changing course a weekend if you weren't, you know, if it wasn't what you expected, you can change course. Tutors are really accommodating to it, and it's very simple. But for me personally, similar to Corey, I did my research, I made sure to look at the different types of IT courses. For me, I already knew I wanted to definitely do IT, and when I found the particular course we're on now, which I progressed to from an earlier level, it involved things I wanted to be doing, which for me is cybersecurity. I enjoy the security side of things and the nitty-gritty details of how computers work, and what's good about them, what's bad about them, and all of that. So for me, this course was like an instant, yeah, sign me up, I'm ready to learn kind of deal.
Are there places on campus where you can study between lessons? I think you know more on this, because I've not been here that long, and obviously because of COVID restrictions, I haven't sort of saw the whole college as it would normally be, but Tom has been here much longer, so I'm sure you can fill us in on much more.
So there are lots of different places to go to study. There's lots of areas like this beautiful space, which is the library, which is shut at the moment, unfortunately. And this is definitely the best area, in my personal opinion, to study, because you've got a lot of different books, a lot of art hanging about the place, and it's a very nice place to study.
And it's so big.
It's so big. There's so many computers in here, it's unbelievable. And the chairs are really comfy, that's the biggest bonus, the chairs are really comfortable. But there's different rooms on the bottom floor of the STEM building where you can go and study, a simpler computer room, and there's also on some of the floors in the building little IT sections where there's 10 or so computers where you can spend your breaks doing. They're all very good, and they all have their own computers, but there is also space you can't see, but over there, to go and lay down your laptops and charge them and your phones and stuff like that, and work on your own personal computers while you're here at college, in case you don't want to be clicking on the shared ones.
And I think as well in the library, I think there is a few interview rooms as well.
I think there is over there, yeah.
Where you can really sort of, once obviously things open up much more, you can, if doing interviews isn't your cup of tea, you can go into them and sort of, you know, practice what, you know, your interview sort of setting or whatever as well. There's a lot of facilities in the area as well, which I'm going to make use of as soon as I can, because they're not open at the moment, but as soon as they are, I will be making the most of them.
Yeah, it's a very nice place to go to study. It's not distracting, and it's calm and quiet, most of the study rooms.
Right, this is a question for Tom again. Speculation by a lot of people. Is it true that there's a COSTA coffee on campus?
I mean, there's no way to be completely sure of the speculations. I've heard it's a bit like Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster kind of vibes, actually. But for me, it's definitely there. Great shortbread they have, actually. I recommend trying it when you get here. But the old ritual before college was go to Costa Coffee, grab a cup of hot chocolate with your friends, extra whipped cream, always. Grab a packet of shortbread, go and sit down on one of the tables and have a giggle before college about whatever you did after college the night before, or whatever you did this morning. And then on your way to your lesson. And then sometimes you come in your break. And, you know, usually get more hot chocolate in my case. I really like hot chocolate.
But yes, It's a COSTA.
Are you glad that you chose to study at Stafford College? I certainly am.
I am. It's really been an eye-opener to sort of about the college. You know, you don't actually see as much until you're actually going to college, and obviously being at Stafford as well. The location's great. It's positioned right next to town, which makes it all the better
For Mackies again.
For Mackies. But yeah, it's really. I chose to study here because the location. I've heard a lot about the college, how good it is, how good the course is, and obviously doing my past research as well. The courses that I've seen look absolutely amazing. They offer much more than high schools do, which is another reason why I chose to study at Stafford. It's just sort of the broad scale of what you can do here, and sort of the facilities as well.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. In fact, entirely. But it was such a good decision to come to Stafford. There's like we've said a million times, but I feel like we need to still talk about how good the freedom is here, because it's just a nice place to be. I mean, I personally am always happy with it here. It's open, it's friendly, it's nice, and it is probably the best decision I've made in my educational life so far.
Pretty much what we're saying is we've got no regrets, because
No regrets.
Stafford College is amazing.
It is. That's very true.
Why do you have to wear your lanyard? Safety, safety, safety.
Oh, Lord. So yeah, it's for safety for the most part. It's a way for the staff to identify you that you should be on campus, and if you're not wearing one, then you usually get told off. In fact, you always get told off. They always are looking. If it's hidden, you get told off.
It's always a fab way as well to remember your student number.
Yeah, it's right here. You can't see it, but no. Also,
always on there.
it's very important for getting into the building. You actually can't get in unless you have the lanyard. The magnetic gates do not allow you to enter.
Beep.
So,
Beep.
so without them, you literally can't come to college. So they're very important, and that's why we have to wear them for identification and actually entry. Why do you love McDonald's sandwich curry? What's going on there?
I just love it. You know.
You look loving it.
Loving it. I just love McDonald's, and I think just because it's there, no one can take it away from me. So I'm just gonna
have it all the
just
time.
gonna have it
24 hours a day.
whenever I've got my break.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. I absolutely love McDonald's. So if you see me around, make sure to buy me a
Big Mac.
McDonald's. And this is not a sponsorship to McDonald's, by the way. I just like it.
Anyway, I believe that's our last question. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you
I
guys.
think me and Corey had a fairly decent laugh about his obsession with McDonald's.
I hope you guys have as well.
Yeah, anyway, thanks for joining us. Bye.